Hi, and welcome to Connecting Women Who Break Barriers. I'm your host, Aradhana, and I'm excited to be sharing this conversation with you today. So let's get acquainted. I was born in India and I came to Australia in 1989. So, yes, it's been quite some time. And I love the life that I've had, but it's come with quite a few different struggles as well. And those struggles, well, navigating them were a little bit challenging at some points in my life. The biggest benefit, or blessing rather, should I say, that I had along the way were the women that had my back. They're women who, like you and I, have been through things that they've also overcome. And these struggles are real. They're struggles that we can all relate to. And they're probably things that you may not have done the work to overcome yet. But I promise you, as you hear the stories of these amazing women, and as I share more about my own journey, you'll have tools and a little bit of a better understanding of why you've been through what you've been through. And like all of us, you'll start to break barriers that may be holding you back to creating the life that you truly desire. So let's get acquainted. And let me share a little bit about my story. Coming from India at a time when there weren't many Indians in Australia, I was definitely that brown kid in class and I stood out. And there were a lot of negative conversations that I had to encounter. Why my eyebrows were almost a monobrow. If you know, being Indian, that's definitely something that only Kajal can pull off. But honestly, there were many things that I had to overcome which I didn't understand at that point in time. And nor did my parents. They were doing the best that they could when it came to raising me and giving me the life that they felt I should have. I'm sure working in Australia and living away from their family as well was something that they were navigating and learning how to deal with. So when you think about the things that you've been through, the most important thing I want you to think about is how can you be kinder and more compassionate towards yourself and others? Because we're all doing the best that we can, and we've all done the best that we can up until now through the knowledge that we've had, through the understanding that we have, and then also at that moment in time. A lot of the time we know how to respond to something, but some of our limiting beliefs may just stop us from actually responding in a different way. So that's where we're going to start this episode in a little bit more detail. Being the brown kid in school and being one of the only few women in my engineering course was again something that I had a lot of challenges with. Being fish out of water on more than one occasion was not something that I enjoyed. And it was something that I was actually teased about for a long period of time. But how did I navigate those struggles? How did I navigate those moments to sit here confidently in front of you and to talk about them? It was through all the inner healing that I've been doing. It was through having support with the amazing women in my network, and the community around me is what kept me going. And it's a community that empowers me, that inspires me, but that has also helped me connect to my heart in a way that I never thought possible. And that's exactly what I want for you as well. Why are we connecting women who break barriers? Because like you and myself, we all have things that we want to change within our life. But doing it all on our own just seems like a big task. And I promise you, it's not as big of a task if we break it down. If we have people who are in our corner and who are willing to support us, all of the things that we want to achieve in life are actually doable and achievable. So how about you connect with these women and understand their stories in a way that is without judgment, is without criticism, and is with a lot of love and kindness, because that's how I want you to connect to yourself, with love, with kindness, and to feel confident from the inside out. And that's something that has taken me a long time to actually feel. I'm no longer the brown kid in class or at work because there are a lot more Indians in Australia now. But I also don't connect to myself as a brown kid. I connect to myself as a kind, loving, and caring person. And that's who I am at my true essence. So, who are you? And how do you want to be considered? How do you want to be taken care of? Are things that I want you to think about as we continue this conversation. Are you willing to drop the judgment, to take off that mask, and even to forgive those people that caused you pain in the past? I know the F word can be a little bit daunting, but I also know that it's actually really liberating. So, is there someone that you need to forgive? Maybe just take a note of that for later and we'll come back to it. But until then, let me share with you a few things that I've been through that you may or may not know if you've connected with me before, and why I am where I am today. At a very young age, unfortunately, I was raped, but it was something that I had suppressed and hidden away in my heart, and actually didn't know about it until a few years ago when I started really doing the inner work, when I started understanding why I was attracting the relationships that I was attracting and why I was behaving in those relationships too, especially the romantic ones. Fast forward to studying engineering, an area where there weren't many women in that course. Again, I was not my authentic self. I was trying to fit in, and I was also trying to be, because I was studying a course that I had zero passion for. If you're an Indian, you may be able to relate. One of the things our amazing parents impart on us is education is everything. And I get it, I understand it, hence I've continued to study. But their thinking, which I'm not saying is wrong, but may not resonate with you, is that being a lawyer, an engineer, or a doctor are the only three professions that you're going to be successful in. So I studied engineering, and was I successful in it? Was it a path that I followed? No. However, 20 years down the track, I've used the skills that I got from my engineering degree. So hey, long story short, it wasn't a full waste. But is it the path that I would have chosen if I had the choice to live life on my own terms? No. And this is what is most empowering about you as an adult now. We all have a choice and we can live life on our own terms. I know that might mean that you say no to invites, you say no to people you care about, and you even say no to situations that you would have said yes to before. But what if you say no now and actually really follow your heart and really do things that bring you joy? Again, something else to consider. So it took me a very long time to start to say no. It took me a very long time to actually be confident enough to set healthy boundaries and accept that this was not the kind of life that I wanted to have. Fast forward to getting married and then shortly divorced after, I left a physically abusive relationship. Again, I know something that may be triggering, but hear me out and know that it doesn't mean everything was doom and gloom. At that time, it wasn't great. Hands up, I did not enjoy it. But I also had a choice as to whether I was willing to live that kind of life or if I wanted to leave and have a better life for myself. And I chose the latter. As much as 15 years ago, getting divorced, especially as an Indian woman, was not really favored on, I chose that path. And the reason being because I, like you, deserve to be happy. I deserve to live an amazing life, and I deserve to be treated with love and respect. But is that how things continued on? Actually not. Was I giving myself the love, the respect, the kindness and compassion after that relationship and even until recently? Not every time, because I was still figuring myself out. I was still understanding my internal dialogue and, you know, that internal chatter which limits us many times. It took a lot of healing and a lot of work to come on the other side of it. And I couldn't be more prouder of myself for actually doing the work, for staying on course, and for dealing with the hard moments as they came up. Was it easy? No, it wasn't. But I promise you, it's been the best gift that I've given to myself. And it's something that I want you to consider as well. Do you want to create a change in your life, or are you scared of hurting somebody or saying no to someone? But know that if you did that, it will change the path that your life is currently on. Please know that I am not an advocate for violence or rape, and if you have been through it, I send you a big hug and lots of love, and I promise you that it's not the only option that you have to deal with. And yes, healing from it can be a little bit challenging, but there are many people available to you to help you on that healing journey, including myself. That's something you're keen on exploring. And that's why I've created this community. The amazing women that will be connecting with you via the podcast are women who have overcome their own struggles. They may not be as heavy as mine, or they may be even heavier, but they have overcome things that you may be going through or have been through in the past. And they share with you what they did to overcome those things. And we share with you tools that you can apply on a daily basis. We share with you tools that will become like your best friend. But we also share with you the chance to really connect to who you are, to the amazing person that lives within inside your heart, and to the amazing person who's waiting to come out. So if you've seen anything about inner child healing or connecting to the younger version of yourself, give yourself a hug. Give the little you a big hug and send her love, because I know that you've had her back, and I know that you've been holding her hand on this beautiful journey called life. But I also know that it's been hard. So how about if we take away all that hardness, all that sadness, all that guilt, shame, fear, whatever it is that you've been feeling, and replace it with joy, with abundance, with love, with care, and even with compassion. That's exactly what we're here to do. That's what me and the amazing guest on this podcast will be doing. We'll be sharing our story, and you'll get to learn a little bit more about mine. And we'll be empowering you to change in a way that feels comfortable, one step at a time, and also empowering you to say no, to set healthy boundaries, and actually use the F word and finally forgive yourself and others. Because I promise you, forgiveness is the key to happiness. As much as that sounds weird, I'm not saying that what someone else has done to you is okay. I'm not condoning any of that behavior, but what I am sharing with you is that it's okay to move on. It's okay to let it all go. And it's okay to actually want more for your life, because you deserve an amazing life. And that's what I'm here to share with you and help you create. So let's take a minute and just reflect. What kind of life do you want for the rest of your life? What kind of experiences do you want to go through? What kind of memories do you want to create? Because I believe it's in those memories and those happy moments that help us to overcome the struggles and the sadnesses and the challenges that we will inevitably face. But I promise you that the happy moments overrule a lot of that. And the more inner work that you do, the more you use things like meditation, yoga, Reiki, time in nature, spending time with your pets, spending time with your loved ones, cooking holistically and beautiful meals for yourself. The more you do things to really nurture, nourish, and love yourself up a little bit better, than you may have done in the past, or even just a little bit more than you're already doing, the internal dialogue will also shift. From judgment, you'll move to love. From fear, you'll move to love. And even from criticism, you'll move to compassion and kindness. And as you shift from all of these low vibe feelings and low vibe frequencies in your life, you'll feel like a different person. The relationships and experiences that you also encounter will be a lot more empowering, will be a lot more liberating, and they'll also be a lot more fun. Because isn't that what life is about? Isn't that actually what the purpose of life is? It's all about having fun, being joyful, and taking care of one another. We're all here going through life together, and the struggles are real. We're all facing them, but we don't have to face them alone. And that's what Connecting Women Who Break Barriers is all about. You're not alone, my darling, and I promise you there is so much more for us to connect on and so much more for me to share with you. But as we take a minute and a step away from this episode, the one thing that I want you to really think about and remember, if there's only one takeaway from this episode, is that you're not alone, you are loved, and you are so worthy of an amazing relationship. The question I have for you is, are you willing to do the work and connect to the love that's within you to create that life? And are you also willing to let go of all the pain and hurt that you've been holding on to for this whole time? Because when you do, the magic really starts. Thank you for your time. I'm also a mindset coach, and I appreciate the opportunity to either share a tea with you or have you listen to me while you're driving, and even when you're having your morning breakfast. Wherever you've heard this podcast, I appreciate you for tuning in and for sharing the episode if it was something that resonated with you. And I'm super excited for the next episode that will be dropping, which is with an amazing woman by the name of Vivian, all about compassion. So that's one episode where you'll get a lot of aha moments, and each episode after this will either be with an amazing guest or with myself again, where we share with you the tools that we've used, where we share with you the struggles that we've overcome, and where we actually hold your hand and help you get over whatever it is that you're facing. So remember, you are loved, you are not alone, and we have your back. Until next time, stay connected and take care.